to Kai. Chapter 8. Kiendar. A world forgotten to most of the galaxy. Its presence hidden by solar storms, asteroid fields, and secrecy. It was here that the Suntayan shuttle landed, its ramp opening upon the snow-crested plains. Out stepped Heshmut, followed closely by Sholviakk. A peculiar choice for a first stop. You are certain we'll find something of worth here? Sholviakk didn't answer. Instead, he walked forward, stepping out onto the melting snow, the smell of spring filling his nostrils. Staring out at the patches of grass peeking through the blankets of white, he closed his eyes.
This very spot. I remember it well. I held the King Karatharu as his subjects fled in terror. This was once a battlefield, a testament to my might. And now, it is nothing.
Heshmut rolled his eyes and walked beside the Conqueror. I sincerely hope we didn't travel all this way for you to reminisce on old memories. What exactly is it we're looking for? Sholviakk slowly turned and glared at Heshmut.
A key.
A key. A single key on a planet.
This is no ordinary key. This is the key to to our conquest. There was once a mighty stronghold here. After I fled the foolish king, I took his kingdom. Time has withered it, but I know where to find it. There. We will find what we seek.
Remember, Sholviakk, should you try to double-cross me, it will be the last mistake you ever make. Lead the way. Sholviakk growled and began trudging his way forward, still recovering his once incredible strength. With every step, memories of his past life seeped into his brain. Citizens of Suntai ran in terror from the barbaric invaders, their axes and blades gleaming with fresh blood, their armor coated in dark gray paint. As the Tessaran Guardians attempted to subdue the hordes of soldiers, their courage turned to horror when the mighty Sholviakk approached, saber in hand.
Weaklings!
Hold your ground! With no effort, Sholviakk held out his hand, sending the Guardians flying back. Those who returned to their feet were met with the terrifying sight of the Gendai warlord, charging them at full speed. Grabbing one by the neck, he lifted him from the ground and slammed his body to the earth, crushing him. As two of the Guardians swung their weapons, Sholviakk's armor shattered their blades. The beastly conqueror laughed and swung his saber, beheading them in a single strike. His attention then turned to the captain of the Tessaran Guards, as he held out his hands, using the force to push the Gendai warrior back. It did not faze Sholviakk, who held his hand up, absorbing the blow, as he slowly walked towards the helpless captain.
Do you think me a bug? Little warrior?
Sholviakk lifted the captain in the air, clutching his fist around the throat of the shaking man.
Sholviakk is a rock, And you, Arbog!
Sholviakk slammed the captain to the dirt and brought his foot down on his head, crushing him mercilessly.
My lord, the Jedi are helping the Tessarans to their temple. We have them surrounded.
Sholviakk snarled and looked to the temple on the horizon.
Jedi.
Inside the Temple of Tessara, the citizens and members of the Order of Tessara were scrambling to reinforce their defenses, as the Jedi aided the remaining Guardians in aiding the women and children deeper into the temple. Orin Daymar and Vela Corrin, 2 Jedi of a group of 7, who had been sent to aid the Order of Tessara in their plight. Now they were all that was left in this dire circumstance.
Orin, have you contacted the Council?
They've cut off our communications. We're alone.
Then we fight. We cannot allow Sholviakk to breach the temple.
Orin nodded and adjusted his armor.
Master Jedi!
A stout man in white robes ran to them, nearly tripping over himself in his desperation.
Nelma, what are you doing here? Get to the other elders. It's not safe here.
I've spoken to the elders. We believe we have a solution, but you must come with us.
I cannot leave these people.
Vela stepped beside him.
Go. I will protect them.
Orin hesitated, but nodded and fled up the stairs with Nelmar. Vela could hear the approaching soldiers and held her lightsaber at the ready.
Hurry, Orin.
Outside the temple walls, the soldiers marched and came to a halt. At the front, the herald blew a war horn as Sholviakk approached, riding on the back of a reek, and stared up at the barricaded gates.
Citizens of Sampire, hear what I say. Your defenses have failed you. Your warriors are dead. The Jedi cannot protect you any longer. Surrender now! Pledge your undying loyalty to Sholviakk, the mighty, and your meaningless lives will be spared. Resist, and I will kill every single man, woman, and child within your temple and reduce it to rubble!
Sholviakk's warriors roared and stomped their weapons onto the dirt as Sholviakk raised his hand and subdued the noise.
What will it be? Destruction or royalty?
The only sound, save for the occasional clacking of armor, was the wind as it blew over the rocky hills. As Sholviakk sneered, the gate opened, and Vela stepped forth, the gate closing behind her. Removing her hood, she stared into the eyes of Sholviakk.
Leave this planet. Now.
Sholviakk snarled and dismounted from his beast, stepping forward and facing down the Jedi.
Sholviakk will not yield to our defeated enemy. You tell the Tessaran friends that they will submit or die.
Vela ignited the green blade of her lightsaber as the soldier stepped forward. Sholviakk held out his hand as the soldiers halted.
No, we will see if this Jedi is worthy for.
Sholviakk ignited his lightsaber, the massive blade flickering a blood red. Vela stood in a defensive pose as her eyes narrowed. With a mighty war cry, Sholviakk charged forward, clashing his blade against Vela's as her arms nearly buckled from the force of the strike. Sparks flew as Vela utilized her superior mobility to roll underneath Sholviakk's legs as the Gendai turned with great speed, bringing his blade down once again. narrowly missing the Jedi and slashing into the rocky ground. Inside the temple, Orin spoke to the elders.
You are certain this will work?
We are certain, but we must act fast. We have but one chance.
Orin nodded.
We will keep him distracted.
Outside, Vela was faltering, backing up, dodging strikes from the massive blade, as the battle led to a rocky ledge on top of the hill.
You feel like coward? Fight! Sholviakk, fight!
Vela held her blade upward, blocking a downward strike as her blade was pressed towards her throat. Her arms trembled as she strained against the might of Sholviakk. Just as her blade began to touch her chin, a blue blade of plasma stabbed through the chest of Sholviakk, who screeched in pain and recoiled. Orin helped Vela to her feet and stood guard with her.
Cutting it a bit close, don't you think?
We have to keep him distracted until the suns have risen.
Why?
Trust me.
Vela nodded with uncertainty as Sholviakk sneered, his skin quickly healing the wound that was dealt to him.
I will skin you alive, Jedi.
Sholviakk rushed at the two Jedi Knights, and the battle ensued. Flashes of red, green, and blue illuminated the early morning air. At the top of the temple, the elders convened, staring out to the horizon, and below, the Jedi, fighting valiantly against this seemingly invincible foe. Nelmar looked to the eldest member.
Are you sure about this, Halmar?
There is no other way. My time has come. We must preserve our people.
The elders stood in a half circle, facing the east, just as the first sun began to crest the horizon. Below, Orin was knocked to the ground by Sholviakk's metal gauntlet. Before the Gendai could strike a fatal blow, Vela leapt in the air, grabbing Sholviakk's metal arm, holding it still just long enough for Orin to regain his footing. Sholviakk's rage boiled over as he swung with blind fury, Orin and Vela being pressed closer and closer to the edge of the cliffside. Sholviakk's eyes gleamed with malice intent, his teeth bared.
The galaxy belongs to me.
Sholviakk's blade was brought down once more, caught by both blades of Orin and Vela as they strained against the force. Just then, the second sun arose. The elders closed their eyes as the light of the sun shone. Their ritual was ready. Just as Sholviakk broke through the guard of the two Jedi, he stopped. He couldn't move his feet. Looking down, he saw his feet encased in crystal. The harder he tried to free himself, the more he became consumed. As the light of the suns beamed upon the warlord, he screamed, his face soon becoming completely encased in crystal. Orin and Vela breathed heavily and looked up, seeing the mighty Sholviakk completely consumed by crystal.
By the Force.
What magic is this?
As Sholviakk's warriors advanced, attempting to breach the temple, Orin and Vela grabbed their weapons.
Let's finish our job.
Without Sholviakk leading the charge, the remaining warriors soon fell to the two Jedi and the remaining Tessaran guards. By the afternoon, any remaining members of Sholviakk's soldiers were sent fleeing to their ships. As Orin and Vela made their way back into the temple, they saw the elders carrying the body of Halmar to a chamber.
He's dead then.
Nelmar slowly looked to the Jedi.
Our ritual of imprisonment requires great sacrifice. Sholviakk has been dealt with. That is what matters now.
Vela stepped forward.
Not yet. Sholviakk must be put to death. He is too dangerous to be left alive.
The elders turned to the Jedi.
It is forbidden for us to take his life.
Forbidden? This is not murder, it's justice.
Sholviakk can never escape from his fate. He can no longer cause any more pain.
That's absurd. What if he were freed?
Only a member of our order would be able to free him. And after what he has done, that would be impossible. He will remain in stasis for the rest of time.
Vela glared.
Pacifism is one thing, but you're turning your back on an inevitable threat to the galaxy.
He is no threat any longer. The Order of Tessara will see to that.
How exactly do you intend to do that?
That is not your concern, Jedi. You have fulfilled your duty. You have no further obligation.
Then let us take him. We will see him destroyed, and he will no longer threaten innocent worlds again.
You Jedi are supposed to be merciful, keepers of the peace. Yet you're so eager to end lives when you feel threatened.
Orin narrowed his eyes.
Jedi kill only
Only to preserve peace, yes? What threat to peace does he pose at the moment?
If Sholviakk is ever freed from this imprisonment, he will kill hundreds of thousands, and you could have been the ones to prevent it.
We have made our decision. We will not compromise our way of life just to appease your ideals of peace.
Vela and Orin looked at each other.
The Council will hear about this, Nailmar.
The Council has no jurisdiction over our decisions. Neither do you. Rest assured, Sholviakk will be dealt with. That should be enough for you.
Vela was about to say something, but Orin put his hand on her shoulder.
Don't. They've made their choice. Let's gather our fallen and return home.
Vela sighed in disapproval and nodded. As they approached the gates of the temple, Orin stopped and looked back to the elders.
We leave you to your own affairs as you wish, but should Sholviakk escape, do not expect the Jedi to come to your aid.
Orin and Vela left as the elders gathered to deal with their prisoner. Over 1,000 years, Sholviakk was held in that prison, drifting between life and death in an endless limbo. Now, as he strode through the snow alongside Heshmut, he thought only of revenge. Soon, they reached a hill, covered in the ancient ruins of what was once a palace.
Is this the place?
Oh, yes.
The booming thuds of Sholviakk's boots as they struck the soil were offset only by the gentle, methodical taps of Heshmut's feet following closely behind. The conqueror cast his gaze upon the ruins of the land he once laid siege to long ago. Stepping into what was once a courtyard, a massive boulder standing in the center, decorated with intricate carvings and ancient tongues. He cared not for the rock, only what it kept safe. Sholviakk held out his hand. The boulder began to quiver and shake, as though it too were horrified of the Gendai. Cracks formed. Then it split in two, collapsing and revealing what lay beneath, a trapdoor. Heshmut watched with mild interest as the mighty Gendai knelt and lifted the door.
This key, what does it unlock?
This key unlocks no door.
Sholviakk reached into the hole, insects crawling up his forearm as he did so. To Heshmut's shock, Sholviakk unveiled the mummified body of the ancient king.
Grave robbing. I should have expected as much from a savage.
Sholviakk paid no heed to Heshmut as he pried open the clutched hands of the king. Sholviakk's eyes gleamed with malice as he held forth a black ball of what looked almost like obsidian.
The galaxy has changed. But with this, we light our path to conquest.
Heshmut used the force to pull the object to his hand, much to Sholviakk's disdain.
What is this?
We must make haste back to our vessel.
Heshmut watched Sholviakk carefully.
And where exactly are we going?
Sholviakk stopped and closed his eyes, as though picturing a beautiful memory.
Home to my stronghold. All will be revealed in time.